by the way, I did want to ask like a quick question. Right now, we're kind of like in the period of like where we were at the start of Boruto, and at the start of Boruto, we were already talking about Boruto Shippuden or Part 2 of Boruto. Should we start legitimately talking about Saruto?
No,
No, no. What are you
no.
I,
doing?
Why?
I don't know.
Why are we bringing
It's
this
it's
up like this
it's
6 months
one
later? I thought
series
this
away.
died out.
This was
It's
so
one
random, bro.
series
I
away.
thought this like Saruto shit died out like 7 months ago. I'm just being real.
Listen, I
And
think
I mean, I could easily see him doing it. Not gonna lie.
they need no. They need to either end the whole series and then start doing like anthology stuff, going back to the past with like the warring states or whatever.
I would rather they
Or
do that.
I so would
or
rather that.
we
or
saying
what
that
they need to
now.
do, or what they need to do is go centuries into the future, a
Nope.
whole new cast, maybe have some descendants, and then maybe keep Orochimaru around as this fucking world.
But
I don't want to.
but
I don't want no more Naruto, no more Sasuke, none of that, bro.
But
Like
we'll be able to
they're
have like
descendants,
Boruto and
or
Kawaki if they like survive at the end. They are Otsutsuki. They live for thousands of years. So I don't
True.
know.
Well,
I don't know.
they live for that long via certain mechanics, right? Like chakra fruit or whatever. But I don't like pills. But I don't think they would do that. I think they would probably just die naturally. But I that's so
Momoshiki
just
ain't
change it up.
Momoshiki ain't having that. Momoshiki ain't
What
having that.
current Momoshiki not having that. But wherever he's going to be in the future or whatever state he's in, I think he'll be in lockstep with Boruto. No matter what people say, it's going to be a Kurama situation.
Yeah, it's inevitable at this point.
I
Or he
think so
dies.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
True.
But that's
But
what I
even
think they
if
should do. They should go back to the past, do some that stuff with that, or go so far into the future that we get a whole new cast of stuff, whole like technology, spirituality, a whole new type of theme. We can do the whole descendant thing. I'm cool with that. Like 5 centuries ago, my great motherfucking grandfather Naruto Uzumaki was the seventh Hokage back in the era of the ninja. That we no longer have that. Now we're samurai, tech, ninja, cyborg, cyberpunk, whatever the fuck. I think that could be pretty dope. But
yeah, true.
I honestly want them to redo. I know this is like far fetched, but I want them to redo the Kara arc, bro. I think the Kara organization was like one of the biggest letdowns of the Boruto anime, bro. The Kara organization should have been way like it should have been way longer. Like the Kara arc, as far as the members, like we didn't get like a lot of their backstories. Like,
that, bro.
man, it would be fire if they would have. I don't know. I'm talking about in the anime, like if like. I'm like kind of going back to like the biggest letdowns because I'll say my full list. But yeah, I really think that they should have took the Kara organization and they should have made it a lot longer. I think they should have fleshed out a lot more of the characters, and Jigen should have survived a lot longer than he did.
They definitely they
They
definitely
rushed
should
through
have
it.
been that way. It should have been that way for sure. But I don't think because if you start retroactively going back and fixing your mistakes, it's like a concession that the mistake is there, even though we know it's there. You can't own up to that, bro. Like you gotta keep it moving.
They got
what
too
I'm
much
kind of
pride.
they could do some movies or some fillers. I think that would be pretty cool. But we gotta move forwards, bro.
Yeah.
I've kind of thought about the Kata organization, them adding detail to that, like how we were talking about them, like going back and actually making one-shot mangas about the Minatos and the Hashiramas and stuff like that. I definitely do believe that there's a lot of content, especially in Jigen's past, sometime or some of them in Boro's past as well. And we did kind of see that a little bit later on in the series. But in regards to the content surrounding that, I think that just the building of the organization, I think that right there is definitely going to be an interesting thing. I remember back in the day, they made a whole movie about the Akatsuki coming together, and even in that movie alone, a lot of stuff was actually cut out. We didn't see a lot of the fights, like the Itachi versus Data, completely cut off. Like I don't know, but so I think that there's definitely like a lot of content that could be had. But in regards to like whatever we see, whatever happens in the future, maybe Saruto, maybe we go on 10 plus years in the future, or maybe we start to adopt or adapt some stuff from back in the past, or possibly even amongst some of the Kata organization. I don't know. I think that we kind of should be talking about it because during Naruto Part 2, like out of nowhere, Boruto designs start popping up. You feel me? Like next thing you know, the Boruto movie's announced. Like we didn't even finish part 2. Like the war
Yeah,
arc still,
true.
we still in the trenches, and Boruto is out. So I think it won't be a surprise to me. Like if like we're in the trenches or in the throes of like a Boruto versus Kawaki battle, and all of a sudden Saruto designs start coming out.
Nah,
Adult
bro.
version of Shikadai.
Nah,
You
bro.
feel me?
Nah, bro.
That'd be so lame. Jesus.
Yo, shout out to J Money Go Ape. He's been a member for 4 months, and he shot us a question. He said, "You think the Otsutsuki's karma symbols that was in the early parts of Boruto will come to play in part 2? It would be dope if they bring in a new karma users."
Does he mean the like stone tablets, or like when they said there's that panel where Shojoji's like they were called Kara, and it shows like these symbols? Which does he mean?
Man, I think honestly, because of what he said, and at the end it would be dope if they bring in new karma users. I think he's asking basically, is there going to be more characters that have karma seals basically in the future?
Well,
Probably.
The question
They
is, the
love
question in
karma.
full is verbatim. You think the Otsutsuki karma symbols that was in the early parts of Boruto will come play in part 2? Also, maybe he is talking about the cracked symbols.
yeah,
I don't
There's
know.
just, I'm not sure
Pro-
which symbols. Just asking to clarify which symbols he meant. I'm assuming he meant one or the other.
Yeah.
He either meant the ones where there's like the blackboard. He's got like the pointer stick and he's like pointing at something, or he meant the stone tablets. One or the other.
Yeah.
I'm
Shit.
going to
Well,
assume he's talking about the stone tablets because that's what everyone else talks about
Yeah.
mostly. So
Let's go with
if
that.
that is the case, I do think that's a mystery that needs to be solved.
Definitely.
And my answer is yes. I do think it's going to play a critical role. I play around with the idea that it's going to be Kawaki and Boruto because time as a concept in this universe is very fluid.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is. It's relevant for sure, but you get. But we want.
I get what you're saying.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So it could be long before Boruto was ever born. Boruto was doing shenanigans, type of funny shenanigans stuff like that. So I think that could play a critical role. So yeah, if that's what he's talking about.
yeah, yeah. I've kind of specifically with the stone tablets. I've kind of always been on the side of I think that there should be some more intel being added. But however, and I always give this caveat when we talk about some things post Masashi Kishimoto, or pre Masashi Kishimoto, but like there was a change in writers, and Kishimoto might not have the same vision for a lot of the things
True.
that Kodachi did have. So a lot of things that we did spend time on, like prior to that, it's not necessarily a guarantee that we'll see that manifest into the future. But however, I personally believe that we're not done with Otsutsuki members, and if an Otsutsuki member is to be introduced in the future, it would definitely make sense for those stone tablets to then make another appearance. But I do kind of want to answer the Karma Seal one. I think the Karma Seal thing could definitely happen in part 2. I think 1000% one of the things that we're going into a certain situation where it's not necessarily going to be Otsutskis versus humans too much anymore. Now I understand that Momoshiki's still around, but it's still going to be like, but in my personal opinion, it's going to be like a Kawaki thing versus a Boruto thing, which could possibly limit the possibility of us actually seeing other Karma Seals. But I personally believe that the Kawaki and Boruto feud isn't necessarily going to be the only thing that happens in part 2 of Boruto. It might be one of the biggest things, or it might be the biggest thing, but I still do believe that Otsutsuki members are probably going to get involved in part 2, and if that happens,
Yeah, they need a
Karma Seals are
common
without
enemy.
on the table.
They need a common
Yeah.
enemy for them to join forces.